living in Baltimore, and I picked up a New York station and heard hip hop for the first time. Blew my mind. I didn't know what I was listening to, but I know I was running around the house. Nobody was around me for me to be like, yo, what is this? You know what I mean? I'm excited. And from that, I feel like I just had a appetite, that hunger just grew, and I was just searching for it. And next thing you know, we had the box come out. That was the first time I started seeing the videos. And I believe that my biggest inspiration in the beginning had to be between Run DMC, Ice-T, and Tila Rock. They were like the first artists that I heard. You know, maybe Melly Mel in them. You know what I mean? Because this is back when. But I know that everything that I heard made me feel some kind of way. It made me feel like this is a part of me. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. So it was pretty much like hearing them was like a roadmap. You know what I mean? Because it just connected me to something else and to something else and to something else. And I remember one day watching the Kid and Play Getting Funky video. And I sat in front of the television and a tear dropped out of my eye. And I was like, what is going on? But I looked at the television and I was like, that's what I want to do. And then from that point, I pursued it, wind up meeting, I met the guy that was Kid and Play's bodyguard on the road. He was their security. He came over to the house one day, brought me this 10 by 13 picture and was like, hey, Shorty, I was thinking about you, man. I know you like rap. Here. And I'm like, yo, that's Kid and Play. You work with Kid and Play. He's like, yeah, man. You know, so I'm just geeked now because I got the poster on the wall. You know what I mean? I got the picture on the wall. Now I'm starting to collect more things. And fast forward about 15 years later, I meet Play because he was here on the radio. They were playing my song was the opening intro to the radio show that he was on. And he asked, well, who's that guy right there? They gave him my number. He called me one day. He was like, listen, man, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to work with you. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, this is Play. This is Christopher Play Martin. You know, house party was popping. Everything was going on. And, you know, he was like, man, I want to rock with you. I want to help you out. And he did that. He became a manager for some years. The first record deal that I've ever signed. So being under the tutelage of somebody like Play, I'm like, man, you're a hip hop icon. You know what I mean? So I'm getting schooled from Play, from Kid and Play. And then later I meet Onyx. You know what I'm saying? So I was always around the icons, always around getting schooled by people like, you know, Sticky and Dro and Play and Chip Fu. You know what I mean? Like, the people that I grew up listening to and admiring became my friends and my mentors, you know, so that changed my life, man. It put me in the game, like, for real.
Well, we'll definitely talk about Onyx for sure, but I wanted, how old were you when you were watching that video and that you had a tear come out of your eye?
Woo,
you remember?
Man, I had to be around 15, maybe 16, somewhere in that. Yeah, somewhere around there. I just remember that was like a moment for me because I didn't know that watching it, hip hop would be emotional for me. You know what I mean? But I know that there was something connecting at that moment. And it was like my identity was just immediately like, this is you right here. This is where you're going. You know, it was just that moment where I was like, yo, I got an epiphany, you know. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this, you know, and I began, you know, a lot of people, I didn't hear about people speaking affirmations or anything like that during those days. But that's when I began to say, that's what I'm going to do. That's who I'm going to be. Like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be that. And I'm going to go here. You know, I didn't even hear about tours back then, but it was certain things that I was speaking and wound up experiencing all the things that I actually spoke.
So do you think that that tear was like kind of your mind, that realization that it was literally like, I know what I want to do, was like, you know, a weight off your shoulders? Because when you're at that age, you're like, you know, what am I going to do? Your parents are asking you, what are you interested in? You're in school and the school's going, hey, you know, you're good at X, Y, Z, but do you want to do this? And like, do you feel like that's what that was? Or do you have like a different perspective of why such deep emotion?
I feel like that tear, it just made me think about how a tear and a light bulb is shaped the same. That tear was like that light bulb for me. It was that moment that I got it. I was like, this is it. I don't need to search any, you know, I didn't pick up like other gifts until later on. I think hip hop led me to other things like, well, from DJ to MC to then one day photographer to videographer to doing management to hosting. Like it just opened up a plethora of different gifts, you know. And in the beginning, people used to say to me, hey man, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do this and I do this. And older people would be like, well, you got to stick to one thing. And I never, you know, I was always rebellious against that. And I never knew why, but I just learned that whatever gifts you have, you got to work on.